Just then, under a clear blue sky, snowflakes began to drift down, blanketing everything in a pristine white. At the same time, a young man quietly glanced upward. He watched the snow fall gently. A guard beside him, having finished his checks, reported the situation. Secretary Deanne, his identity confirmed, simply stood waiting for the heavy steel door to open up. This cold, snow-covered place without a single soul in sight was the northern disputed territory of Chiorwan. Without the slightest bit of worry, Diane walked inside alone. He quickly pulled out a map to get his bearings. Deanne found his direction in no time. According to the map, it should be that way. Unable to wait any longer, he started to move, and so Diane shot forward, moving as fast as the wind. Let's see. The reason he could move at such a speed was all because of something that happened after that event. The Awakened were born possessing physical abilities far beyond those of ordinary humans. That catastrophic scene made it impossible for humanity to ever forget the Day of Dawn. It was an event etched into the memory of all humankind. Countless monsters appeared, wreaking havoc without end. They poured out from dungeons that had suddenly materialized. The world of humanity was pushed to the brink of extinction. But in their most desperate hour, the Awakened appeared and saved them. With the help of the Awakened around the world, humanity slowly rebuilt its civilization. The end of the Great Dawn War, which had lasted for 25 years, was drawing near, culminating in the final battle at Incheon. At that time, a special event occurred. One of the 5 war heroes appeared, and after a fierce final battle, the smoke of war finally cleared. With the successful defense of Incheon, the Great Dawn War officially came to an end. All of this is recorded right in the history textbooks. Time flies, and before you know it, a long time had passed since that battle. And now, 29 years have passed since the end of the war. Someone has come to meet the war hero who lives in seclusion alone in Chiorwan. Thinking about it, Deanne grew curious. I mean, an 80-year-old man living all alone in a desolate wasteland like this? Maybe he's like some kind of hermit living in the white snow. As Diane sped forward, a creature suddenly appeared, blocking his path. The perceptive Diane spotted it immediately. He slammed on the brakes with all his might to avoid a collision. Staring at the giant monster before him, Deanne couldn't help but be terrified. How strange. What is this monster? But on closer inspection, he identified its species. A mouse duck. A monster with a cute duck head and the body of an ostrich. Diane couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. It can run at speeds of 100 kilometers per hour, and it never lives alone. Diane clenched his fists, gathering his power. A Mosductor. That's an A-rank disaster monster. Do I have to fight it? Unexpectedly, the Mosduck went crazy, roaring in Diane's face. He was so terrified it scared the confidence right out of him. Yeah, fighting it probably wouldn't be a good idea. The best of the 36 stratagems is to flee. So Diane turned tail and ran for his life. Seeing the flock of Mosducks chasing him relentlessly, he couldn't stop shouting. How can an old man possibly live in a place like this? But that wasn't all. Suddenly another species appeared in the sky. Diane quickly noticed it. Could it be? It wasn't hard for him to recognize it. A thunderbird. An A-rank disaster monster. A monster that tears anyone it touches to shreds, leaving not even the bones intact. And so, now Diane was being chased by 2 different types of monsters in this area. A-rank disaster monsters are just roaming around freely like common birds. After running for a while, he suddenly spotted a house nearby. Wait a minute. Is that a hut over there? Without another word, Diane leaped inside. First, I have to hide, but the Thunderbird was right on his tail. With its speed, it was no surprise that it caught up to Diane. The Thunderbird's razor-sharp beak was inches from his face. Diane could only watch helplessly. I'm dead. But then a firm voice rang out. Don't eat that! The Thunderbird immediately became docile, its eyes wide and sparkling. Diane was astonished. What is this? Its eyes suddenly looked strangely beautiful. After coming to his senses, he realized that was clearly a human voice. A person walked out and ordered the Thunderbird, let him go and leave. It immediately nodded in obedience and released Diane. Soon he had landed safely. Diane watched, bewildered, as the Thunderbird flew away into the distance. A monster is taking orders from a human? The young man looked at Diane with a questioning gaze. Are you the new secretary? Diane didn't let his guard down. Who are you? The guy glanced over his shoulder and called out, Hey! It turned out the flock of Mosducks were still eyeing Diane menacingly. The young man just waved his hand a few times, signaling them. Just like that, the Mosducks stopped standing at attention with serious expressions. Then they left one by one in an orderly line, leaving Diane completely stunned. Are they lining up in military formation and leaving? That other guy disgustedly told me not to come anymore. Diang, did he confuse you? Di Yang turned back in shock. Then, You must be. He stated his identity unhurriedly. Choi Kangho. As he walked into the house, Kangho continued, You've had a long journey since early this morning. It must have been exhausting. Come inside and have something to eat. Diyang's face was a mask of astonishment as he thought, This person, is he really the war hero who's now 80 years old? The legendary Beast King who brought about the current era of peace by winning the Great War. Diyang hurriedly ran after him to confirm one more time. Are you really Senior Choi Kangho? Outside, the snow continued to fall without stopping. Diyang now obediently went into the house. Looking around, he couldn't help but feel puzzled, silently remarking, This house looks so empty, it's almost like it's abandoned. Then he turned to look at the young man who seemed to be in his 20s. How could that face possibly be 80 years old? As Kangho started a fire, he said, Are you startled because I look younger than my age? Diyang immediately nodded.
Yes. The heroes who were active 29 years ago are all now chairmen of great councils or hold key national positions.
Kangho just calmly remarked, They've all become old men, haven't they? He seemed just as puzzled by this. I also don't know why my body doesn't age like that anymore. Diyang's jaw dropped in amazement as he watched a small bird bring over an egg. Oh, right. Most people who look young say something like that. But Senior, what is that thing? Kangho took the egg and explained, It's a baby thunderbird. Cuter than you'd imagine, right? Diyang's eyes immediately lit up. Yes, he silently observed the monsters near Kangho. The special ability of a beastmaster. To make every monster in the world bow in reverence. The achievement of single-handedly stopping the monster army advancing on North Incheon was clearly no exaggeration at all. Diyang looked at the chick and asked, Senior, are you still raising magical beasts? I was taught that during the Great War, 29 years ago, you always had a monster companion by your side, and that it was an SS-rank partner. Kangho slammed the food tray down. He seemed a little unhappy, his face darkening. Actually, I'd rather not talk about that. After you eat, tell me the main reason you came here. Diyang knew he had misspoken and quickly said, Yes, my apologies. He quickly got to the main point. A problem has come up. Inside, Diyang was relentlessly blaming himself. I knew the situation, so why did I have to say something so stupid? He quickly opened a screen and stated the purpose of his visit. These are new species of monsters that have recently been discovered in the Busan and Daegu regions. Their frequency of appearance and their aggression are increasing, so your help, Senior, is desperately needed. Kangho immediately focused his attention on them. New species, huh? This is something that hasn't happened since the Great War. Tell me the details. Diyang nodded and quickly explained everything. Yes, these monsters. Sometime later, their discussion was over. It was a great honor to meet you, Senior. Diyang bowed respectfully. And I apologize for all the trouble. His voice became a bit hesitant. But in the end, I just have one more question. Why do you live all alone in a place like this, Senior? Kangho's eyes grew sad. Because I'm waiting for something. Diyang was incredibly curious. Waiting? What are you waiting for? Kangho seemed reluctant to speak. For now, what I'm waiting for is... But before he could finish, Diyang was suddenly dragged away in a blur. When he finally got our clear look, he screamed in terror. A saber tiger! This time it's an S-rank disaster monster! Kangho waved cheerfully. It's dangerous here when it gets dark. This little one will take you home safely. Munchie, you sure showed up fast. Diyang was still screaming in terror. Is this thing even reliable? Even from far away, his voice still echoed through the area. Senior. Seeing that Diyang was gone, Kangho stretched and went back inside. Well, the guest has left. Then he started cleaning up the mess. Kangho smiled as he watched the young monsters eating enthusiastically. Eat up, everyone. He couldn't help himself and grabbed a broom to sweep the yard, sighing constantly. Oh man, this snow just won't stop. But before he was finished, that large creature from before returned, making all his sweeping pointless. Seeing how excited it was to greet him, Kangho couldn't bring himself to scold Munchie. Still uneasy, he asked again, You took him and came back already. Or did you just ditch him somewhere and come back alone? Munchie immediately pouted, his heart aching. It was so unfair. Meanwhile, Diyang had returned safely to the base. The officer quickly came out to greet him. You've returned safely. Diyang was still dazed, unable to believe what had just happened. I was just chewed on by a saber-toothed tiger as big as a cow, wasn't I? Or was that a dream? However, the other man was no stranger to this. Everyone's shocked at first, he said. Hearing this, Diyang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But we're used to it now. Back to Kangho, he had put the broom away. It seemed Kangho had ridden Munchie to some other place. He looked forward and said to him, Let's go again today, Munchie. Getting the order, Munchie shot off like an arrow through the white snow. A long time had passed since that battle. 49 years after the day of dawn, Choi had formed a special ecosystem with many strange creatures appearing everywhere. However, this place held a painful memory, and it was here in this white snowy land 49 years ago that I first met Manhwa. Kangho looked up at the thing in front of him, thinking to himself, it's clearly getting bigger. And that egg? Kangho's memory of that battle was still very clear. During the Great War 29 years ago, Kangho appeared heroically in the middle of a horde of monsters. They lunged at him like hungry tigers, and soon Kangho was completely engulfed. He was no longer visible, but suddenly a blinding light flashed from within the monster horde. A large number of them were instantly eliminated. It turned out Kangho had launched a powerful counterattack. Without pausing, he continued to activate his skill sense link with his contracted beast, Manhwa. Very quickly, a white figure appeared, stomping down on the writhing monsters below. One man and one beast stood proudly amidst the monster horde. Kangho gently stroked Manhwa's thick fur. Then he braced himself and leaped up. "Let's go!" Manhwa. That magical beast was a precious friend to Kangho. My companion, Manhwa, with her sparkling silver fur and beautiful eyes. That day I joined the battle to protect Incheon, and together Manhwa and I ended this war. And in that battle I saved this world. Now peace had returned to the land. However, Manhwa had also collapsed. But I lost Manhwa. She was down to her last few gasping breaths. Kangho's heart broke at the sight. He couldn't stop blaming himself. "I'm sorry, Hwa. Thank you. You tried so hard." But in the end, Manhwa closed her eyes and left this world. Kangho's whole body went numb. Just then, a blinding light erupted from Manhwa's body. And then, all that remained was a single crystal. Kangho's eyes widened in astonishment as he stared at the crystal. Long after Manhwa disappeared, a crystal was left in her place. Kangho took it as a promise, guarding it day and night ever since. I have always stayed in this place, looking just as I did back then and waiting. I keep hoping that one day it will wake up. He closed his eyes, his voice filled with bitterness. "That's you, isn't it, Hwa?" After midnight tonight, it'll be the new year. At that moment, a small fairy appeared near Kangho. He quickly recognized it. "Are those the fairies from near the teleportation gate? Out to play for the new year, are you?" Ah. Those fairies were clinging to Kangho's watch. Their numbers were growing. Just then, with only a few seconds left until the new year, a blinding light shot out from the egg. Kangho, startled, turned to look up. In the final second of the year, the egg showed signs of cracking. As the clock struck 12, the eggshell completely shattered. Kangho stared bewildered at the creature that jumped out from within. He gazed at its snow-white fur. 55 years after the day of dawn, exactly at midnight, 35 years since the end of the Great War, I met a creature identical to Manhwa. Kangho carefully bent down to greet it. "Hello there." In the white, snowy land of Choi, the place where I first met Manhwa. I don't really remember the time anymore. Was it 49 years ago, or is it 55 now? Back then, while working at Choi, I was fleeing from monsters that were flooding out like a broken dam. And there I had a fateful encounter. Right there, I met Manhwa for the first time. Kangho hugged Manhwa tightly, risking his own life to protect her. Even in such a desperate situation, that pure white fox caught my eye. It felt like destiny. This very place. The place we first met. Coincidentally, after all this time, history repeated itself. And in this very place, her child was born. The little magical beast seemed to feel a familiarity with Kangho. It rushed toward him, and he didn't resist it at all. The creature even happily licked Kangho's face. It asked in a young voice, "Are you greeting me, sir?" Kangho affectionately hugged it. "Yes, hello to you. I can't help but say you really do look like Manhwa." But the peace didn't last long before strange creatures appeared in the sky. This prompted Kangho to activate his magic beast seal, and an information panel appeared. Species Wonderbong. Rarity E. Attack D, Defense. D, Special Skill, F. Potential F. Kangho's eyes narrowed. A new species of monster. He thought to himself, "I've never seen a species like this since the Daybreak War." Kangho recalled what Dean once said: these were newly discovered monster species. In the southern disputed zone, the frequency of appearance and aggressiveness of new monster species has been increasing recently. Help is desperately needed. He couldn't help but wonder. Songhwa's child awakening after 35 years and the appearance of new monster species. Could all of this really be a coincidence? Then the young beast suddenly turned to look at Munchie with an affectionate gaze. To his surprise, Munchie obediently went closer, letting it pet him freely. At the same time, in the bustling city of Gangnam District, Seoul City, a towering building caught the eye. It was the headquarters of the Great Council of Korea's Big Three Guilds, the Mercenary Tower. In the dead of night, a figure burst directly into the place. The moment the guard saw it, his face turned pale with fear. He immediately reported, "Captain, we have a huge problem. There's a magic beast on the roof," the guard yelled in a panic. "Send backup now." However, the captain was unusually calm. Emergency Response Protocol, Article 3, Section 1. "Don't you remember?" The young man cried out in confusion. "What?" The captain reminded him, "If a young man riding a saber appears, treat him as the chairman's best friend, and welcome him with the utmost courtesy. We have a VIP visitor. Open the rooftop gate immediately." It was only then that the guard understood that emergency protocol. So, it wasn't just a legend to prank new recruits. Soon the sound of the gate echoed. The moment it opened, the person was terrified by Munchie. "Isn't that just a terrifying magic beast?" Seeing this, Kangho warned Munchie, "Stop it, you're scaring everyone to death." Seeing Munchie obediently settle down, he stroked its fur a few times. "Couldn't you have just been quiet until we got outside?" As soon as the captain saw Kangho, he greeted him politely. "It's been a long time, Sunbae Choi Kangho." He immediately greeted back, "Yeah, it's been a while. Is he inside?" Kangho was now waiting in a room, staring intently at a photograph on the cabinet. He looked so young and fresh back then. Hearing footsteps approach, Kangho recognized them without even having to guess. "Why do your footsteps get more majestic as you get older?" The man was overjoyed to see him. Kangho, that person, was none other than one of the 5 heroes of the Daybreak War, the guild master of the Mercenary Guild, the throne-bearer, Lim Jonbae. He excitedly threw his arms around Kangho. "My God, how many years has it been?" "Welcome." Kangho's sharp eyes immediately noticed the bottles. "What's with all that liquor?" Jonbae cheerfully slung an arm around Kangho's shoulder. "We're 80 years old now. How can we pour out our hearts with just a little bit of drinking?" But Kangho didn't seem to agree. "You're 80, you should be more worried about your health." Suddenly, at that moment, a small beast crawled out from Kangho's clothes. It took a deep breath to get some air. Jonbae came closer to get a better look. "Who's this little guy? He looks so familiar." He seemed to be thinking of something. "Don't tell me. Is that the one born from Songhwa's egg?" Kangho nodded in confirmation. "That's right. Since it's Songhwa's child, I named it Seonga." Jonbae was delighted. "So you brought your precious baby here to show off, huh?" But his topic couldn't escape alcohol. "Then we have all the more reason to have another drink." Kangho was helpless and didn't know what to say. All right, I get it." And so the two of them got drunk together. Kangho suddenly turned serious. "Jonbae, actually, I came here to ask you something." Jonbae was more than willing to listen. "What is it?" He quickly took out his phone. "The Disaster Management Agency just sent this to me." But Jonbae wasn't surprised. "You mean that our guild has been having a headache over that too?" Jonbae's voice suddenly deepened. "A ranker from our guild who was dispatched to the Southern Disputed Zone has gone missing. He was an outstanding talent, an A-rank awakened, ranked 95th in the country. He was also very worried. I can't explain it exactly. But something is definitely going on. New monster species are appearing more and more frequently." Jonbae's eyes narrowed. "Among them, a few are carrying demonic energy." Kangho suddenly became pensive. Demonic energy. Because more than anyone, Kangho knew very well that all the monsters in the Daybreak War were filled with demonic energy. Those with demonic energy have their instincts amplified, their ferocity surpassing all imagination. And at the center of it all is an existence whose demonic energy is taken to the absolute limit, demonkin. In the worst-case scenario, even they could appear. Jonbae put down his glass and said, "That's exactly why I'm telling you this, Kangho." He boasted nonstop, "This year my global rank is 40th. In Korea, I'm even 6th. Kangho bluntly criticized the old man. "But holding on to that position at your age is decent enough." Cheonbae's face turned red with anger. "How am I supposed to keep up prices for everything? Even houses have all gone up. The only thing going down is my rank." He took out a circlet and said, "So, take this chance, and try measuring your mana. My mana is currently 74,000. Kangho was extremely resistant to the idea. No way, it's too much of a hassle. Besides, I don't even know how to use it." Cheonbai used Seong-ah to threaten him. "If you don't measure it, I'm not buying a birthday present for the little one." And so Kangho had no choice but to compromise. "Fine. If you're that curious, I'll measure it." He asked blankly how to use it. "I probably just put my hand in here first, right?" Cheonbai nodded in confirmation. "That's right. Just pour your mana into it like that." Kangho's entire body was immediately flooded with a stream of spiritual power, making him cry out, "Whoa, so this is how you measure it." The sound of machinery whirred continuously. Identifying user. Scanning subject information. Choi Kangho. Codename Beastmaster. Combat power 120,000. Predicted rank based on current combat power is Rank 1 domestically, Rank 1 globally. Cheonbai, standing beside him, was so shocked his jaw dropped. "Kangho, you? Just how in the world have you been living in that wilderness?" Kangho didn't seem to care much about the issue. "It's hard to say. I just did a little farming and raised Munchie, that's all." Hearing that, Cheonbai's entire body slumped in despair. It's really like he just retired to the countryside to farm. Meanwhile, at the Tangerine Grove dungeon. This is a small dungeon located near Choi Kangho's residence. I wonder about that guy. Is he feeling sick from drinking today? Because this place has many stat-boosting fruit trees that enhance magical beasts. It's called the Tangerine Grove. In addition, there are also many earth fairies and galacts. These low-level monsters help promote plant growth, so for a beast king, this dungeon is very useful. And there is a way to enhance this Tangerine Grove, and that is... Kangho quickly found a transparent stone. A spirit stone. I've never seen one this big, and to think it was a gift, too. He carefully placed it on the ground, then buried it with soil. A stream of energy radiated out continuously. Kangho watched intently. The effect is amazing. He could clearly see its form. The fruits, the fairies, and the galacts had all doubled in size in the blink of an eye. Just then, Seong-ah leaped off Kangho's shoulder. Seeing it dance joyfully in midair, he couldn't help but feel happy, too. Look at it, so excited. Kangho once again used his magic to activate the beast seal. An information panel appeared. Type, Becca. Subspecies, rarity, SS, attack, FF. Defense, FF. Special skill, question mark, potential question mark. He looked at the information, unable to hide his surprise. A subspecies. What's more, this is the first time I've ever seen question marks in the beast seal's stat info. Seong-ah was still jumping and playing around. Its two eyes sparkled, looking incredibly adorable. Kangho couldn't help but be surprised by its actions. Suddenly, without a word, Seong-ah leaped away. Kangho panicked and quickly called out, "Seong-ah!" But it had no intention of stopping at all. Just like that, Seong-ah's figure vanished. Kangho watched it go and mused, "Did you sense something?" He also began to deploy his skills. If that's the case... Kangho lightly pushed off the ground to gain momentum. A second later, he also vanished into thin air. Before long, Kangho had caught up to Seong-ah. It wasn't annoyed at all. On the contrary, it was very happy. Seong-ah once again zipped past Kangho. He couldn't help but exclaim, "You're a good runner, huh?" Together they leaped across a treacherous cliff. Even though Seong-ah was small, its abilities were second to none. But Kangho faltered for a moment when he saw the scene before him, two girls surrounded by a horde of monsters. Seong-ah charged forward and successfully blocked the monster's attack. Though small, its presence was immense. However, why would these monsters be afraid of such a tiny magical beast? Those fairies were terrified, speaking in a language he didn't know. Kangho had now arrived. He quickly realized they seemed to be a swarm of earth fairies, but their shapes are a bit strange. Did Seong-ah run over to protect them? Just then, a dragon appeared, causing Seong-ah to freeze on the spot. Seeing this, Kangho could only sigh. After all, it's a bit too early for it to face an A-rank disaster-class monster. That snake was a Titanoboa. Rarity A. Attack a B. Defense A. Special skill B. Potential A. The Titanoboa roared ceaselessly towards Seong-ah. It made the little creature so scared it didn't know what to do. Kangho stepped forward to intervene. "That's enough." The Titanoboa wouldn't stop roaring fiercely. He lost his patience and entered the fight. Activate Beastmaster's exclusive skill, Predatory Instinct. It is known that when this skill is activated, all monsters will recognize the user as the most brutal and ferocious predator in this world. Kangho stood imposingly before the Titanoboa without a hint of fear. He held out his hand and power quickly gathered. It seemed Kangho was treating the Titanoboa like a pet. "From now on, don't you dare come near this side again if you sneak back here. I'll stuff you all into a wine barrel." That bunch of fairies were stunned motionless by this sight. Kangho's brow furrowed as he asked one last time, "Answer me." Seeing the Titanoboa nod its head repeatedly, he was satisfied. "All right then," Kangho shouted loudly, causing the monsters to flee immediately. "Everyone retreat now." The fairies nearby witnessed this scene. They were so scared they were on the verge of tears. It turned out there was another monster present there. A strange aura emanated from its entire body. Zeonga also quickly noticed it. Kangho's expression grew tense. Demonic energy. That monster is a raptor. Rarity F, attack F, defense I, special skill F, potential F. Zeonga fearlessly rushed forward. However, the raptor saw her and turned to flee. Seeing Zeonga give chase, Kangho immediately ran after them. A new type of monster emanating demonic energy. It must have come out of that newly appeared gate. Because of it, the entire area was filled with demonic energy. A sense of unease welled up inside Kangho. Could it be that after going through the gate they had arrived in some unfamiliar space? Have the demonoids appeared? But he quickly noticed something different about Zeonga. She had now evolved a second tail, skill learned, Im-Asu, possesses superior combat instincts and enjoys battles. Additionally, its growth rate through combat is 1.5 times faster than others of its kind. Kangho still couldn't hide his confusion. It learned a new skill. What's this about a growth rate? However, danger was now upon them. It wasn't just one raptor anymore, but 3 of them. Zeonga eagerly asked for permission. "I'm allowed to go play right?" A familiar feeling welled up inside Kangho again. It was just like that day with Zeonghua. Memories of the past flooded back once more. Back then, Zeonghua and I trained together. We grew stronger through countless battles, but in the end I was met with a bitter fate. But ultimately, Kangho looked at the expectant Zeonga before him. "That's why I wanted to raise Zeonga normally, but Zeonga is a child who fundamentally loves to fight. Stopping her from ever fighting would just be my own selfishness. In that case, it's better this way." Kangho made a proposal. "Zeonga, from now on, let's form a contract." After speaking, he immediately began the process. Kangho told himself, "I'll train her to become the strongest." A blinding light appeared between the two of them. Zeonga was frozen by that energy. Soon a ring was formed. It was placed on Kangho's hand, and that was the ring of contract. The ring that appears on the master's hand when a contract is formed with a magical beast. Kangho added, "Since you're still young, I'll share a bit of my mana with you." A stream of energy quickly entered Zeonga's body, and so Kangho prompted her, "Go on and fight to your heart's content." Zeonga confidently advanced to attack her opponent. The raptor roared ferociously. Even so, Zeonga's gaze remained determined. At that moment, Kangho could also feel it. Sense transfer. An exclusive skill of a demon beast tamer. The contractor and the magical beast share all senses, including both mana and physical strength. Zeonga was very close to the raptor. However, Kangho reminded her, "Don't be hasty, wait for my signal." After seeing the opportunity arrive, Kangho immediately gave the order, "Now's the time." Receiving the command, Zeonga instantly lunged forward. With a single blow, she knocked the raptor flat on its back. Just like that, the raptor was defeated at Zeonga's feet. The system quickly announced, "Skill learned suppress." By subduing an opponent, you absorb their demonic energy. The raptor was completely unable to resist anymore. The demonic energy around the raptor's body also began to fade away. Zeonga was suddenly alerted by a sound. It turned out there were 2 more raptors about to attack. Zeonga fearlessly continued to face the fight. Just like that, she quickly placed a claw on the raptor's neck, then zipped past the other one. Kangho, watching from the side, was stunned. Our little Zeonga's movements are pretty good for her first fight, huh? Zeonga used her tail to restrain the raptor, making it yelp in pain. Soon it was squeezed until its tongue lolled out. The stream of demonic energy was completely devoured by Zeonga. Zeonga transformed once again. Species Baka subtype. Rarity SS. Attack FFE. Defense FF. Special skill potential. Something on her neck was glowing. Even Kangho couldn't help but marvel to himself. They say kids grow up in the blink of an eye. It's really true. He quickly called out, "Zeong-ah, come here." Suddenly, she clenched her teeth as a stream of energy flowed into her body. She asked expectantly, "Did I do a good job?" Kangho let out a sigh of relief and praised her. "Yes, you were amazing. Now the gate is about to close. Let's go home." The space around them quickly changed. Kangho turned back and said to the raptors, "You guys can wake up now too." They quickly sat up. Kangho looked contentedly at Zeong-ah playing with the raptors. As long as there's no demonic energy, they can all be friends, huh? Our Zeong-ah is so adorable. He had urged them on just before the gate collapsed. Everyone run. Before long, they had escaped from that place. The gate then vanished right after. The entire area returned to a state of peace as if nothing had happened. Just as Kangho and the others reached safe ground, excited voices suddenly rang out. He has finally returned. A bewildered Kangho turned to see the fairies kneeling emotionally, offering their gratitude. "Thank you. We truly thank you, O Mighty One." Kangho couldn't help but feel flustered by their actions. "Mighty One me." The fairies knelt in deep reverence. "O great supreme being." Hearing this, Kangho was at a loss for words, unsure how to handle their excitement. With the supreme silver-fanged guardian deity, he suddenly leaned down, startling one of the fairies. "Goodness," a skeptical Kangho asked, "how is it that you all can speak the human language? Is it magic or something else? Putting that aside, what's all this about a supreme being and silver-fanged? Are you talking about Zeong-ah?" The girl was ecstatic. "Zeong-ah. Is that the title of the silver-fanged guardian deity? In our distant homeland, the fairy realm of the world of sound, the white-fanged tribe has been worshipped as our guardian deities since the beginning of time. And among them, the silver-fanged individuals hold an even more special meaning. They possess not only benevolent hearts, but also unparalleled power. A silver-fanged one once saved our kingdom from the corpse dragon disaster. That was a great deity with 5 magnificent tails. Zeong-ah, suddenly being worshipped like this Zeong-ah, was also extremely bewildered. To our people, they are living legends. So when we witnessed you treating that guardian deity like a child, in our eyes you could only be the supreme being. They even stood up and began to dance. We shall now perform the welcome dance reserved only for the supreme being. Kangho watched them, not knowing what to say. These spirits seem a little eccentric, he thought as he carefully observed each one. The fairy realm of the world of sound, huh? That sounds strange. And hey, this girl? Unlike the other earth spirits, she's wearing a crown, and she can communicate this clearly too. Curious Kangho spoke up to ask, "Do you happen to hold some kind of royal title among your people?" The girl's movements suddenly stopped and her tone became sorrowful. "As expected, no secret can be hidden from the eyes of the Supreme Being. Your Grace, I am Johanna, the 4th princess and the youngest daughter of the Earth Spirit tribe." A flustered Kangho tried to correct her. "Actually, I only figured it out. It's not because I'm some supreme being." Johanna paid him no mind and continued her story. "But for some reason, the domain I was granted was suddenly turned into a dungeon. When I came to my senses, we had all drifted into this strange world. And now," as she spoke of this, tears began to stream down her face. "It's been 3 days since those monsters attacked and seized our dungeon. At this rate, our tribe will be wiped out." Kangho quickly grasped the main point. "So to sum it up, you're all homeless and about to starve to death, right?" Johanna spoke with excitement. "Oh my, you truly understand everything, O Supreme Being." Kangho made an offer. "There's an earth spirit dungeon near my house. It's called the Tangerine Garden. If you wish, you can take shelter there." Johanna and the others were overjoyed, bowing endlessly. "All hail the Supreme Being. Please accept our absolute devotion." All of this was starting to make Kangho feel awkward. "I get it. So please stop bowing over and over again." He fell silent, thinking to himself. "The fairy realm. Are all the princesses there? I like this. She acts more like a maid who does nothing but bow." Suddenly loud noises echoed from nearby. The figure of Munchie was rushing toward them like a storm. Johanna and the others were still bewildered, not understanding what was happening. As soon as Munchie arrived, he growled, intimidating them. Johanna's group turned pale with fear. However, a second later, their fear vanished. They hugged Munchie's tail, tightly squealing with excitement. "This is absolutely amazing." Munchie was getting a little annoyed. Seeing this, Kangho tried to comfort him. "Just put up with it for a bit. Our Munchie is a good boy, right?" Just then, his phone rang. Kangho opened it to see a message. He had been added to a group chat by John Bert, and everyone inside was chatting back and forth. "Hey everyone, Kangho's here. Let's all say hi to him, Kangho." Hey, Kangho, so you're still alive in the mortal realm, huh? It's me, Junwoo. How have you been lately? They always say no news is good news. Kangho skimmed through it and scoffed. That old geezer must be going senile. He can't even type properly anymore. While Kangho was playing around with Seong-ah, Cheonbai had secretly taken a picture. He was no stranger to his opponent's tactics. This was definitely Chunbei's doing. The message alerts kept going off one after another. This is the technology of the modern age. Kangho. What did that little brat just spew? If you've got the guts, then drag your ass to Bukhansan Mountain right now for me. But after reading it, Kangho just remarked, if I go there, it won't be Bukhansan Mountain anymore. It'll become your grave. His friend wasn't surprised by this scene anymore. Truly, a leopard never changes its spots. The moment they met, they were already at each other's throats. These idiots are the same trusted comrades who fought by my side in the Great War of the past. Along with me, they are all recorded in modern history as heroes. Kangho thought back for a moment and said, it's been a long time. Maybe I should go and meet them. And since I've decided to raise Seong-ah to be the absolute best, I should also prepare the most perfect training regimen for the kid, right? Finally, after a barrage of messages, Kangho finally replied. Meanwhile, Bukhansan Mountain was bustling with excitement. Even a television station was there to broadcast live. We are reporting live from Bukhansan Mountain. Yes, this very mountain. According to the latest reports, 2 of the 5 heroes, the Sword Saint and the Bow Saint, are preparing for a match to determine their rankings. Immediately, a massive crowd gathered here. Everyone was incredibly excited by this news. This will be an evenly matched fight. The one holding the 20th position in the world rankings. Sword, Saint Park, Junwoo. Codename Sword. Saint Park, Junwoo. And with him, and his opponent ranked 21st Bow. Saint Kim Ho-young, codename Bow Saint Kim Ho-young. Just then, a pink-haired girl came forward. All right. Excuse me, can everyone please make a little room for me? When the crowd got a clear look at her, they got even more excited. The blazing witch Hua Even Lee Minna has shown up. The audience cheered nonstop. It's Hua. We love you, Fire Witch. The crowd got even more enthusiastic. Everyone, let's make some noise. Minna covered her ears in annoyance. Honestly, how long are these old men going to keep fighting? Don't they ever get tired? Junwoo had already started the match. We've already come this far, there's no turning back. Ho-young wasn't about to be outdone. Cut the crap, you senile old geezer. There's no stopping now. The only thing that's going to happen is you getting beaten to a pulp. Junwoo's eyes narrowed, his cruelty showing. This bastard. You're really stubborn, aren't you? You brought this on yourself. So if you get hurt, don't blame my sword. Not backing down. Ho-young stepped forward. Fine by me. Come on, step up if you dare. Watching from the side, Minna sighed in exasperation. Some things never change. These 2 old geezers haven't changed one bit. This battle had been officially approved as a ranking match. The one officiating it was none other than Lee Minna, codename Hua. But just then, a sudden appearance caught Minna's attention. That figure was rushing towards them at lightning speed. It turned out to be none other than Kangho, along with Seong-ah. The crowd was still unaware of his arrival. Kangho slowly descended into their midst, but Minna, with her sharp eyes, had already spotted him. Everyone, I think... The 2 of you might have to cancel today's ranking match. Junwoo spoke up annoyed. What? Even Ho-young was irritated. What the hell are you talking about? We've already come this far. There's no turning back now. Minna immediately shot back at them. Even with Kangho standing right over there. What? It took Junwoo a few seconds to process. Even Ho-young couldn't believe it. Kangho? Hearing his name called, Kangho raised his hand and waved cheerfully at everyone. Ho-young's anger vanished. That little brat! You finally decided to show your face before we're 6 feet under, huh? Just then, Junwoo spotted Seong-ah. Wait, what's that little white thing on his head? Kangho now looks up and says affectionately, Hey, Shauna, we're going to go eat something really delicious. With these old geezers? And after that, we'll go shopping, okay? Aren't you excited? Seong-ah was extremely curious about these strange things. Shopping. What is that? The Sword Saint and the Sword Demon. Ever since Park Junwoo, the man known as the Sword Saint, left his position as leader of the White Knight Guild, he has established a medium-sized training hall at the foot of Bukhan Mountain to train his successors. Before them now was Park Junwoo's Spirit Herb Vault. Kangho's exclamation rang out. You even have Musu grass. Musu is a rare and mystical herb that can greatly enhance the mana of spirit beasts. When consumed, this thing is extremely rare and priceless. He brought it close to his face to examine it while telling Seong-ah, you can't just gobble it up like that. At that moment, Junwoo, who was beside them, remarked, "The little one's appearance is truly a perfect replica of the Seonhwa of the past Kangho. You should take it all and use it to nourish her well." This offer made him ask in return, "Are you sure? There are 20 spirit herb roots here. These men are of the same age, so they all address each other respectfully as you. Calling each other a more junior you would sound weird at their age." From the side, Ho-young also chimed in with a comment, "That really is a pile of nightmare grass. You might as well just clean out this whole vault." Junwoo's expression immediately turned sour. "Well, I was planning on giving all of this to him anyway." Kangho just smiled and replied softly, "In any case, thank you very much." When he turned to him, Junwoo immediately broke into a smile. "If you're so grateful, then come visit me more often in the future." To this warm invitation, Kangho just said softly, "I will definitely come." Suddenly, Ho-young gave a wicked grin and suggested, "Hey, by the way, it's been 15 years after all, since you finally decided to show up, huh?" Following his gesture, a huge banquet table had been prepared. The two old men, Junwoo and Ho-young, coaxed him in unison, "We have to drink all the soju, equivalent to the 15 years we've been apart. Don't even think about getting away from here. I heard from that Chunbei fella how much you drank with him." At these words, Kangho couldn't help but feel concerned. "Both you and that Chunbei guy, why is it that only your appearances have aged? So much I wonder." The place was now noisy with arguments. "I don't know about you, Kangho, but we're getting older by the second here. We don't have much time left. Hurry up and drink this glass. To be at this age and still be obsessed with time? Oh, come on. You guys just open the bottles and drink. Time passes to the next day." At Seoul Bank, Kim Chong's footsteps hurried towards the main entrance. On his face was a warm smile. "Welcome, esteemed customer. Thank you so much for visiting our branch after such a long time. I will personally guide you to the VIP lounge immediately." The person Kim Chong was greeting was none other than Kangho. "I want to withdraw some mana stones, and you can stop with the constant bowing." Hearing this, Seon-ah on his shoulder couldn't help but feel curious. "What are mana stones anyway?" Kangho explained to her in a low voice. "To go shopping, we need to get some cash first." Kim Chong smiled brightly and pointed in one direction while explaining. "The armory located right next to the mana stone vault has been kept exactly as it was, so please feel free to use it as you wish." Outside at that moment was the figure of Kong Jin. His gaze was fixed on the bank in front of him. The staff members present bowed in unison. "Thank you very much, esteemed customer. We hope to see you again soon." This attitude intrigued Kang Jin. "The staff here are that welcoming, huh? Let's see just how valuable this guy really is." He then immediately activated the device worn over his eye. A mana stone scanner combined with a mana measuring lens, a specialized device for determining the grade of a stone, and the amount of mana it radiates. Information from the person opposite him was quickly relayed. Mana immeasurable. Mana stones detected 2 C grade and 3 D grade. After assessing this person, Kang Jin couldn't help but feel annoyed. Damn it, he looks all fancy on the outside, so he's just some broke bastard. Then why were those people at the bank so subservient to a guy like him? It totally gave me the wrong idea. However, the moment he shifted his gaze to Kangho, his attitude instantly changed. 3 S-rank mana stones. Jang Jin's attention was drawn to the items in the man's pocket. 2 A-rank and 5 B-rank mana stones. His jaw nearly dropped as he exclaimed, "What the hell is with this guy? With that many? The estimated value has to be close to 1.6 billion won in cash. He's just casually strolling around with that kind of money on him, in his back pocket." Jang Jin continued to observe Kangho. "So what about his mana? Could he be an S-rank hunter?" The item delivered its conclusion on Kangho. Mana immeasurable. Jang Jin thought to himself, an unawakened person. Kangho was completely unaware of this. He just continued his leisurely walk. A smirk appeared on Jang Jin's lips. And on top of that, he doesn't even have a single bodyguard. This guy is basically a walking lottery ticket. He quickly contacted his crew. "Boss, I'm in Yongdong-po. I just found a really juicy target." The person on the other end asked in return, "What's his next destination?" Jang Jin obediently replied, "Isn't there only one place a person would need that many mana stones?" He received his orders and quickly started his car. "Roger that. We'll keep tailing him." The place they were headed was 12th Street in Yongdong-po district. Without a word, Kangho pushed the door open and walked in. He was greeted by the deep, somber voice of Unji. So the beast has finally deigned to appear before me. After all these years, let's see, it's been 15, hasn't it? No, has it really been 15 years? She sized him up with her sharp gaze. The Munchie I met last time has certainly become a true monster by now. The creature you intend to raise this time is... Unji remarked with interest upon seeing Kangho's companion, a silver Bekya. Is this a descendant of Seonhwa? He didn't hesitate to introduce her. Seona, that's right. But she's a little different from Seonhwa. She belongs to a rare subspecies. These words made Unji smile. I have lived among the Beastkin tribe for over 100 years, but this is the first time I've witnessed a subspecies of a legendary divine beast with my own eyes. Thanks to you, I've had a truly precious experience. She didn't forget to add, well then, Beast Tamer, I hope you will raise this one into the finest battle beast as well. Kangho simply replied with a bright smile. It was now the 50th year since the Dawn War. Seona couldn't help but wonder as she looked around. Why do they look so different? Many races had crossed the boundary to Earth from a dimension called the continent, and this district was formed where they settled, building their own distinct culture. Lee Minah's Fire Witch tribe. One of the 5 heroes also originated from there. A magical race that can maintain a youthful appearance for 80% of their lifespan. And there's also another representative race from the continent, the dwarf tribe Masters of the Forge. Greeting Kangho was the beaming smile of Smith. Well, well, look who's here. Oh my, the great Sir Choi Kangho, Smith, the dwarf master of the smithy, enthusiastically asked as he led him inside. So did you find everything you needed? Kangho replied calmly, more or less. Then he asked Smith, still as busy as ever? He calmly explained, orders from major guilds like Nappa and Baekya. Just keep piling up, making this place feel like a battlefield all the time. Hearing this, Kangho took out a bracelet and asked, if it's not too much trouble, I have a favor to ask. Smith's attention was immediately glued to the bracelet. Oh, it's aura. What happened to this peerless treasure? Kangho turned his head away. He looked around as he replied, it's nothing. I just haven't used it in 15 years. I was hoping you could do some maintenance on it, but you seem very busy. However, Smith laughed heartily and brushed the concern aside. If it's a request from Sir Choi Kangho, of course it's our top priority. We dwarves never forget our debt to you. He even enthusiastically turned and shouted, everyone, do you agree? My apprentices, this is an item from Sir Choi Kangho. Drop everything else and focus on this first. They all chanted in unison, yes, sir. Their enthusiasm made Kangho scratch his head and reply, you haven't changed a bit. The scene at the forge was being watched from a distance. What did he buy before going into that old dwarf's smithy? Jang Jin swiftly reported, a 100-year-old Viona root fruit of the world tree and a Sheeta stone. Hearing this, Jung Myung couldn't help but exclaim, what all of those things cost a fortune. A look of amusement spread across his face. All right, no need to check any further. We'll ambush him the moment he leaves the forge. The raiding gang on this side. Mr. Smith was slowly explaining the function of the bracelet on Kangho's arm. I've made a few small improvements during maintenance. From now on, controlling your mana will be much easier. I've also raised its maximum power output. Would you like to try it out, sir? Kangho took the item and replied calmly, no, that won't be necessary because I believe I'll have a chance to test it out soon enough. He then left. That was all Jung Myung's group was waiting for. They followed Kangho's every move, then immediately rushed into attack. Get him, boys! To their surprise, Kangho wasn't fazed at all and simply asked back, is this everyone? Have you all shown yourselves? Jung Myung replied in a loud voice, who do you think you're trying to scare, you unawakened coward? This question made him pause. Unawakened? Ah, you must have used that mana measuring lens, didn't you? Kangho, however, kindly asked back, its measurement limit is only up to 100,000 units. And that's it. So you mistook me for a normal, unawakened person, is that it? Is that right? Jung Myung broke into a sweat and stammered, yeah, that's right. What's with this calm attitude? Don't tell me he's actually thinking, impossible. In this entire country, there are only about 3 awakened individuals with a combat power over 100,000, and there isn't a single one among them I don't recognize. Don't let his mind games fool you. Enough talk, get him. Kangho's bracelet began to glow. It seems all of them have finally shown up. If that's the case, his expression became much more serious. Aura of mana release. A blue torrent of power enveloped Kangho's body. Activate aura. Seeing this, Jung Myung's underlings were thrown into a state of confusion as they were blown away. They crashed hard onto the ground behind Kangho. This unexpected turn of events made Young Myung's jaw drop. Information about Kangho's power appeared mono-level immeasurable. Young Myung's eyes widened as he wondered to himself, the reading is still off the charts. Don't tell me his real power actually surpasses 100,000. At that moment, Kangho reached his hand forward. Does a monster this terrifying really exist in this world? Just from that force alone, the man's lens shattered. A question was posed to him. Who in the world are you? Kangho casually slid his hands into his pockets as information about his opponent quickly appeared. Lee Young-myung gang raiders. Kangho read it intently and let out a sigh. A gang that calls themselves Raiders. A former leader of the White Knight. One of the 3 largest guilds, yet you're involved in despicable acts like robbery, kidnapping, and murder. It seems you've kept yourself very busy with your crimes, haven't you? On the other side, Young Myung was sweating profusely. I have to retreat right now. This guy is not an opponent I can handle at the moment. He quickly activated his skill. Innate skill. Assassin activated. Young Myung's shadow moved nimbly across the buildings. As he fled, he thought to himself, once I use this ability, no enemy has ever been able to find me. But to his surprise, Kangho had already appeared right beside him. You were once a key member of the White Knight. Your abilities are quite decent too, so why would you condemn yourself to live such a rotten life? Without letting Young Myung say another word, Kangho struck him hard. Young Myung fell straight to the ground. He scrambled back up with a look of utter astonishment on his face. I was ranked among the top 50 fighters. In the country, his level is far beyond mine. He's clearly at the very pinnacle of the hunter world. Young Myung turned, preparing to fight. I can't let my guard down for a single second, he roared at the top of his lungs. Where are you hiding? Kangho's voice came almost instantly. I'm right behind you. Young Myung could only exclaim, What? Before he could say more, Kangho threw a punch, not forgetting to gently remind him, next time don't just pull out dangerous items like that. He then even shattered the dagger. Young Myung himself was still flying backward, hit so hard that even his clothes were blown away. Meanwhile, Kangho was examining the item he had just used. As expected of Smith's craftsmanship, the mana circulation efficiency has clearly improved. My ability to control my power has also become much more precise. Kangho completely ignored Young Myung. Hey kiddo, don't touch that. That thing's dangerous. Just look at the state you're in. It seems you're over 50 years old if I'm not mistaken. You must be a survivor from the war era. What reason could have driven you to do this, after being lucky enough to survive that catastrophic war? Hearing this, Young Myung weakly replied, You ask why? Because of this phony peaceful world. A wicked smile spread across his face. There's nothing fun about it. I'm so bored I'm going insane. When there are no more pools of blood, no more mountains of corpses. His voice didn't hide the madness within. I'm going crazy from all this tedium. Sometimes people like this exist in the world. They are human husks whose humanity was completely destroyed after long years of war. They became addicted to the feeling of slaughtering enemies in a living hell, eventually losing themselves and sinking deep into a path of sin. Lunatics forged by bombs and bullets. They are one of the painful dark sides that this era always tries to conceal. Seeing Kangho approach, Young Myung couldn't help but laugh. What's wrong? Don't tell me you're starting to feel sympathy for us, are you? However, he remained silent. Back with Junwoo, our friend we just met, his young disciple made a comment. I can't believe he's the legendary Choi Kangho. I'm shocked. Hearing this, Junwoo just smiled and explained, What? Are you that surprised that Kangho still looks so young? While your master is the only one aging so horribly, huh? The disciple stammered in denial. No, sir. He then shared his own thoughts. It's just, I find he has a rather gentle and calm appearance for a war hero. Junwoo drained the cup of wine in his hand while he replied, Is that so? Perhaps he seems that way now. His next words surprised his disciple. But that's not the whole truth. A statement was made just like that. In reality, Kangho's temper is incredibly fiery and terrifying, especially towards criminals. He really is on another level. Young Myung was gradually becoming frightened by Kangho's aura. I see. You hate peacetime just because it's too dull. His hand had already finished gathering power. If you're that tired of living in peace, Junwoo was still seriously declaring he becomes someone that would terrify anyone. He even spoke extremely, if it were me, I'd rather take my own life than fall into his hands. A full power punch was thrown by Kangho. He closed the distance, reaching out to grab Young Myung right as the man was sent flying. Kangho's voice was deep when he spoke. Then I will grant you exactly what you've been wishing for. The poor nose on Young Myung's face was broken by Kangho's punch. He slammed hard into the wall behind him. Over here, The phone rang again. Junwoo eagerly answered, "Kangho, is that you? What made you decide to call me first and a video call no less?" Kangho glanced at Myung behind him while explaining, "I have a small favor to ask. This guy Lee Myung, do you recognize who he is?" Junwoo's expression turned serious almost immediately. "It's him, the one who dragged the honor of White Knight through the mud. That bastard is worse than an animal." He hurriedly asked, "Where is he right now? I'll head over immediately and tear him to shreds." The disciple behind him had to remind him, "Master, please, calm down a little." Kangho calmly suggested, "I'll send you the location. Send a few people from White Knight over here." He then added, "I've also rounded up his entire gang." Over here, Myung was observing him while thinking, "So this guy is the demon beast master." Kangho looked around and questioned, "This is the only place where you've hidden the things you've stolen, right?" Hearing this, the man had to admit, "Yes, that's right. Of course, I wouldn't dare lie to you, sir. We had almost everything snatched from under our noses by someone calling himself Phantom. This is all that's left, model." That name piqued Kangho's interest. Phantom Myung hurriedly explained, "Yes, he's a thief who's become notorious lately for his audacity. He's the type to leave a black calling card after his heists. I've told you everything I know. You'll show mercy and spare my life, won't you?" However, the aura of power around Kangho shifted as he replied, "Fine." A punch shot out like a flash of lightning. Myung cried out in shock, "My magic core! My mana!" Kangho then explained in a soft voice, "I'm letting you live, but since I've completely destroyed your magic core, you will never be able to use your powers again. From now on, go and live as an ordinary person." The man vomited blood as he stammered, "Live as a commoner. You might as well just kill me." Kangho reminded him grimly, "Now that the energy inside you is gone, take this as a lesson to remember, and live out the rest of your life." His voice turned colder. "Do you have any idea how many lives had to be sacrificed to build the peace we have now?" After he had taken care of business, Kangho turned and walked away. "Don't worry, Zeona, not everyone who comes out of a war becomes twisted like that." A smile for Zeona appeared on his lips. "Let's go home." When they arrived home, "I'll cook you a delicious and nutritious meal. But before you eat, you need to take a bath and get all clean, okay?" In a small house on a snowy mountain, a terrified shriek was followed by the sight of Zeona dashing outside. However, Kangho's hand immediately reached out. He easily caught it, then smiled and remarked, "You hate baths just as much as Vui does. But you still have to take one." In Kangho's hand was an item. Of course, this wasn't for an ordinary bath. It was the fruit of the world tree that he had collected on his recent shopping trip. "I'll use my mana to make it melt and dissolve into the warm water." After dropping the item in, Kangho turned to Zeona and asked, "Well, the scent is very pleasant, isn't it? The water temperature is just right, too." It curiously reached out a paw to touch the water. Zeona's expression almost instantly turned to one of delight. Seeing this, Kangho also smiled in response. "I'm glad you're enjoying it." Back in the old days, before heading into battle, Beastkin warriors would crush a small amount of the world tree fruit's peel to apply to their bodies. Just that small amount would phenomenally strengthen their fur and hide. And yet right now, Zeon-Ah was using that precious fruit. It was using the entire fruit to absorb all of its essence. Zeon-Ah's tiny body was gradually lowered into the water. Its fur absorbed the liquid in the tub so quickly that it was completely drained. Kangho witnessed this strange phenomenon. He couldn't help but wonder it evaporated that quickly. However, he smiled right after and turned his attention to Zeon-Ah. Of course, the effect it produced was also immense. Kangho's face showed his surprise as he saw a light radiating from Zeon-Ah. Normally, the effects of this fruit should have ended by now, right? Its fur was silky and seemed to be glowing. Zeon-Ah's status immediately appeared. Acquired skill guardian of nature. This spirit beast possesses a vastly superior ability to absorb natural energy. Its efficiency in absorbing medicinal herbs concentrated with nature's energy is 1.5 times higher than that of its peers. Kangho could only sigh as he observed this. How can this little one absorb things so well? He gently stroked Zeona's head as he spoke. Now that I've scrubbed you clean, you look truly radiant. We should find something for you to eat. Snow was still falling outside while Kangho was inside cooking. Johanna asked in a soft voice, Sir, you have been absent for the past several days. So you went out to find these precious ingredients. Kangho replied to her with a smile. That's right. Now let's start cooking. He then gently instructed the other pixies, All right, place it down here. As Johanna dropped the ingredients into the pot, she asked curiously, Vyonga root, bagan tree seeds, shicha stone, and concha stone too. All of these are extremely rare ingredients. But an ordinary fire can't even crack their shells. Kangho took out a handful of items. This amount should be enough. She asked in astonishment, "What?" Then she added, bewildered, "Sir, if you throw that many mana stones into the fire all at once, that won't create a cooking fire, but that will create an explosion." However, Kangho nonchalantly tossed those stones into the furnace with a smile on his face. The moment they were engulfed in flames, they reacted violently. Johanna, her face pale with shock, cried out, "It's about to explode." The flames in the furnace grew stronger than ever. Kangho reached out his hand to control the fire, manipulating the intense heat as he cooked. The ingredients slowly began to blend together. Johanna, watching from the side, was astonished, thinking, "I can't believe he can control those flames with such ease. What incredible magic power." Soon the dish began to take shape. After roasting all the ingredients until they became a fine powder, Kangho turned and called for the musu. Johanna quickly flew off to obey. "Right away, master." He picked up another ingredient, planning to extract the juice from the musu fruit he had received from Junwoo. He then drizzled its liquid into the pan and mixed everything together to form a dough. Kangho continued using his hands to shape the dough into small round balls. Watching from the side, Johanna could only marvel. "The dumplings are already finished." Kangho held one out to her, asking, "Do you want to have a taste?" Johanna hastily refused. "What? You must be joking, master. If I were to eat that, the life force inside me would go out of control and I might just explode." Her gaze shifted elsewhere. "Those dumplings aren't meant for us." They were for Xiong-ah, who was already drooling in anticipation. It looked on eagerly and couldn't help but ask, "Are those for me?" Kangho held the food out to it. "This is for you. But its effect is very powerful, so you can only eat one for now." Without wasting a second, Xiong-ah rushed forward and devoured the treat from Kangho's hand. A light began to emanate from its body, and it cried out as it suddenly shot up into the air. This feeling it's the most amazing feeling I've ever had. Race Silver Fang. Rarity SS. Attack E. Defense F. Special ability potential. Witnessing this, the little fairies all exclaimed in amazement, "Oh my god, that Silver Fang! It nearly doubled in size in just a few seconds." Xiong-ah immediately ran outside. Kangho simply watched with a smile on his face before heading out with it. The two figures, one human and one beast, ran off together. Kangho watched Xiong-ah and thought to himself, "She's absorbing the potion very well. Her growth rate is even faster than Xionghua's. What would have happened if I'd done the same for Xionghua? Back when she was little..." A nostalgic smile appeared on Kangho's face. "Back when I was raising Xionghua, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. We just blindly threw ourselves into battles and ran for our lives. I couldn't feed her until she was full or even let her rest properly whenever she got sick." However, he couldn't help but feel a sense of regret for what happened back then. If only I had taken better care of it. If only I had studied more about spirit beasts. With that thought in mind, after it passed away, Xiong-ah leaped up high, crying out excitedly, "This is so exciting!" Kangho watched in silence, making a promise in his heart. "I will make up for everything I couldn't do for you with your descendant." Xiong-ah looked towards him with loving eyes. Kangho easily caught its entire body, followed by an exclamation about its weight now. The two of them fell straight to the ground, but Kangho just burst out laughing. "I will definitely make it the most outstanding one and let it enjoy a life of absolute luxury." But then Xiong-ah's expression suddenly changed. It made him ask, "What's wrong? Are you saying that I've gotten much bigger?" The subject was changed. "All right then. Shall we go pick up Munchie now?" The wind was still blowing relentlessly. Munchie's solitary figure lay on the snow. It was silent and unmoving, lying in one spot, its bright red eyes reflecting the image of Cheon-san. He looked down at it curiously and asked, "What in the world are you, a saber tiger? Why is your body so tiny?" "I heard all the calamity creatures in this region have already left." "Don't tell me you were abandoned by your own kind." Cheon-san knelt on one knee beside Munchie and continued his advice. "You should hurry and follow them. A barbed wire fence is about to be put up around this area. Once that's up, you won't be able to follow them even if you want to." Then he gently picked it up with one hand. That was the story from 16 years ago. Cheon-san's other hand reached behind him, fumbling for his knife. "If you still refuse to leave this place..." His face grew serious. "I'll have no choice but to kill you. Even an ordinary person like me can at least do that." But then Cheon-san suddenly let out a loud sneeze. He and Munchie stared at each other, and the hand that was about to grab the knife relaxed. Cheon-san continued putting his hand in his pocket. Then he held a piece of meat in front of Munchie's mouth. "Eat up. This is called beef jerky." As Cheon-san watched it eat, he remarked, "For both you and me, this life is so tough no matter what." When Munchie licked him a few times, he couldn't help but feel amused. "Oh, you sly little rascal." However, it was time for Cheon-san to leave. "I have to go now." "You take care of yourself, all right." Munchie faced him, its tail wagging furiously. A new day came, and Munchie's face lit up because Cheon-san had come to see it again. The relationship between the two of them was established from that fateful day forward. Thanks to the old man's warm care, Munchie's body grew up in a flash. Even its tiny tail grew noticeably larger. The little saber tiger from all those years ago had grown so big. Cheon-san greeted it with a smile. "When did you get so big, huh? Your fur has grown so long I thought a giant ball of fur was charging at me." As if remembering something, he added, "That's right, a round fur ball. Starting today, your name will be Munchie." And just like that, the saber tiger was given the name Munchie. One day, Cheon-san sat next to Munchie and confided, "Isn't it strange? Munchie, I lost all of my relatives to the monsters during the Great War." His gaze drifted into the distance. "After losing my family, I wandered alone and contracted an incurable disease from another world." Cheon-san's voice grew heavier. "But even when I saw you, I couldn't bring myself to kill you." "I wondered why that was. Even though you're the child of monsters who are supposed to be my sworn enemy." Munchie listened attentively by his side. Just then, Cheon-san's hand reached out and gently stroked its head. "Perhaps I saw a younger version of myself in you, a lonely outcast left with nothing." However, that was followed by a violent coughing fit. Munchie thought to itself as it turned and ran. "When I was sick, you gave me food and helped me get better. So this time, I will go find food for you." Munchie promised itself, "I'll be right back." It had no idea that Cheon-san was watching it go with a satisfied look on his face. Right after that, he collapsed. The sky began to grow dark. Munchie quickly returned carrying a small rabbit. When it saw Cheon-san lying unconscious, it immediately forgot about the thing in its mouth and rushed to his side. A flood of questions raced through its mind. "Sir, are you okay? Please, wake up!" He quickly looked towards the city of humans. The previous warning came back to him. "You must never go down the mountain, Munchie. If you do, you'll lose your life. If you happen to encounter humans, run away immediately, okay?" Munchie was momentarily bewildered, but Cheon-san's condition was not good. Munchie decided to run, determined that someone had to help him. The place he headed for was that city. The crowd immediately launched an attack upon seeing Munchie, a stray tiger cub. "That's an S-class disaster creature." Then they aimed their weapons at him, shouting orders. "The cub is here. That means the mother must be somewhere nearby. Request: back up and evacuate all civilians immediately. Be extremely careful, it's an S-class disaster species." Meanwhile, Munchie was visibly confused. "No, it's not what you think." But those people attacked him directly. A barrage of sharp points aimed for Munchie. He couldn't dodge them all. Munchie struggled, trying to explain, "I just want you to help my dying friend." However, he was quickly overwhelmed. "Is anyone there? Please help me." Munchie fell to the ground, thinking this was the last moment of his life. He was in pain, but still tried to beg, "Is anyone there? Please help." However, a figure appeared and stopped the attack. "You don't need to interfere. We can handle this." Weakly, Munchie glanced over at Kangho, who then calmly explained, "There's no adult tiger nearby. This is just a little one that got separated from its pack. I'll take care of it easily so you don't need to worry." His words successfully dispersed the crowd. "Yes, sir." As he touched Munchie, he gently proposed, "You need help, don't you? Lead the way." He couldn't help but be surprised, thinking to himself, "How is my body regaining its strength?" Very quickly, Kangho met Cheon-san and assessed the situation. He calmly explained, "It's an endemic disease from the continent. An overwhelming amount of mana has taken root in his heart and is eating away at his body hour by hour." Then he glanced over at Munchie and remarked, "Your friend is very lucky. Perhaps it's because he has a brave friend like you that he managed to survive." Kangho's hand reached towards Cheon-san, gathering power to extract the mana. Cheon-san's eyes slowly opened. He was greeted by Munchie's excited face. "Munchie, is that you?" The two friends embraced tightly. "I'm so happy to see you again." Munchie's memory ended there. Just then, Kangho approached from a distance. Munchie's eyes immediately lit up when he saw the smile on his face. Munchie stood up at once, but before leaving, he looked back one last time. Cheon-san on the tombstone still had the same gentle smile as always. He had entrusted Munchie to Kangho. "Go with that man. Now you can live freely in this vast world." Back in the present, he just smiled, thinking, 5 years after entrusting Munchie to me, the old man took his last breath. Since then, around this time every year, Munchie comes back to visit the old man. A few of his huge teardrops fell on Zayong's head. Munchie was sobbing as he walked. Kangho didn't stop him, but simply raised a hand to shield little Zayong's head. Zayong, it looks like it's about to rain suddenly. With a friend who mourns him like this every year, the old man's resting place probably isn't so lonely anymore. On the way home, they encountered some monsters again. A battle bee fell in front of them completely still. Kangho then looked up to see a swarm of battle bees moving before him. This made Kangho think, aren't those a new species that appeared recently? When the battle bee fell in front of him, Kangho quickly used his skill Beast Eye. Information about the battle bee immediately appeared. Species battle bee. Rarity 1-1. Attack E. Defense E. Skill F. Potential F. Known skill. Absolute submission. This beast will obey its master unconditionally. Swarm action. Their power skyrockets when fighting with the entire hive. Zayong on his shoulder spoke excitedly, "That one's my target, right?" Without waiting for Kangho to reply, she bit directly into the battle bee. Kangho watched Zayong, thinking, she's already scented it. The flow of mana emanating from that monster. The battle bee used the stinger on its rear to attack. Kangho's face immediately showed surprise as the bee aimed its stinger at Zayong. Her eyes widened too. However, the attack had no effect, and Zayong just calmly chewed on the bee, because the battle bee's stinger had shattered into many pieces. Kangho held out his hand to catch the stinger. There's no way those tiny needles could pierce Zayong's skin, especially after her body was strengthened by bathing with the fruit of the world tree. He observed and pondered, and this is a paralyzing toxin, right? That must be why it's ranked like that despite its small size. Kangho's gaze then shifted upward. This also means we can't just ignore them. Wasting no more time, he climbed onto Munchie's back and ordered, "Let's go." Munchie quickly chased after the swarm while Kangho thought to himself, "It's a good thing there are no houses around here." He continuously observed and assessed them. So the problem is their eating habits. They've gnawed through all the grass and trees in this old forest, practically this entire mountain. They even feast on the corpses of other monsters. In other words, they're an extremely omnivorous species. Once the food source here runs out, they'll attack the residential areas at any moment. Kangho glanced back. We have to wipe them out before that disaster happens. Munchie let out a few cries and Kangho immediately raised his guard. What's that? Before him was a black hole. So this is your headquarters, huh? He smirked and mumbled an observation, and that red symbol means it's been 15 years. Since the last time we faced a red-level gate, Munchie. Munchie growled from the side. We had a pretty tough time back then. Didn't we? Kangho and his companion charged straight inside? That's right. But things are different now, because we're ready. So let's head inside. Very quickly, Munchie landed at the end of the gate. Kangho observed the movements of the battle bees on the other side and assessed, so they're trying to protect their nest, huh? He immediately activated his skill, Release Magic Predator's Instinct. The battle bees instantly fell back, all of them making way for him. Now about these red-level gates. Inside the ecosystem is like a piece of another world that's been copied and pasted here. For that very reason, you can sometimes find rare resources that never appear in normal gates. However, along with that, the monsters guarding this place also possess formidable power. Kangho observed the fierce monsters that had just appeared and whispered his assessment, another species. They were 3 times larger and had much stronger magical energy than the ones that just fled. One of them targeted him and flew over, but Kangho easily batted it away. Information about this bee immediately appeared. Species Dreadwasp. Rarity D. Attack D. Defense E. Skill F. Potential F. The other wasps were also preparing to attack. They flew in a swarm, ready to clash with Kangho. These are much stronger than the battle bees from before, he mumbled. I guess these are the real guardians of this place. The swarm of dreadwasps on the opposite side charged in to attack all at once. Kangho immediately used his sensory link skill to fight alongside Munchie. The skill information instantly appeared. Sensory link. The tamer and their familiar will share all sensations, including magical power and physical abilities. Munchie quickly accelerated he and Kangho charged towards the swarm of dreadwasps. The dreadwasps' formation quickly broke. Munchie swung his arm, scattering them. Kangho, looking serious, joined the fray. Seonga also attacked, biting into the body of a dreadwasp. But unlike the battle bees, it wasn't defeated by this. The dreadwasp just kept on flying. Kangho looked at Seong-a's bewildered expression. He had to gently console him. That thing's still too big for your mouth. He and Munchie charged forward. The dread wasps on the other side simultaneously fired sharp stingers. Kangho's gaze immediately turned serious. He and Munchie dodged the sharp stingers while he calculated, they just keep coming without end, huh? In front of him were more dread wasps. Such a powerful source of magical energy. They're over there. Very quickly, Kangho came up with a plan. I'll have to go check it out myself. Munchie. After that, he jumped up. Munchie put power into its legs and pushed Kangho off its back. His body went flying. Kangho mumbled his hand touching the ring as he activated his aura. He watched the swarm of dread wasps flying toward him. Activate. They were instantly sliced into pieces. Kangho didn't even blink. His attention was focused on the nest behind them. So, that giant nest is what the dread wasp swarm is trying so hard to protect. This is the source of all the magical energy in this place. With his power, Kangho forcefully pierced into it. He continued deeper inside. Before Kangho was a black figure. A deep, gloomy voice echoed from the opposite side. So you've finally decided to show yourself again. Kangho frowned when he realized the opponent was a demon. The demon's eyes looked at him and assessed, they've broken through this deep already. Kangho scowled, listening cautiously. However, the next words the demon uttered were beyond his expectations. Damn it, this is a total disaster. Kangho had a dumbfounded look on his face as he heard that complaint. We're so screwed, damn it all. Kangho and Koa cautiously approached, and finally that thing revealed itself again. A shapeless, dark shadow appeared before them. It was a demon. The demon's soulless eyes stared him down. I can't believe you were able to break through and make it all the way in here. Kangho said nothing, showing no hesitation. Suddenly, the demon looked completely dejected like a wilted plant. Damn it. This time we're really done for. Damn it, we're really done for this time. The demon looked straight at Kangho and shouted excitedly, You can hear what I'm saying right. Oh, thank heavens, this is wonderful. You definitely understand the words I'm saying right. Kangho didn't dare to let his guard down. What the hell is wrong with this demon? But then he suddenly regained his ferocious demeanor. If that's the case, then listen well, human. In my prime, I was known by the title of the fourth-ranked being in the demon world. I am Teo Itilagamigin. Upon seeing this, Kangho immediately got into a fighting stance. Is he about to attack me? A murderous aura radiated intensely from the demon. And my purpose here is to... Who would have guessed that the next second he would meekly kneel down? I surrender unconditionally. I've never really been a fan of fighting, especially against someone as absurdly powerful as you, a human who can even command monsters. This scene left Kangho utterly speechless. What is this power? The commotion even made Koa, who was chewing on the bees' heads, pause. Seeing that his opponent had no hostile intentions, Kangho didn't bother making a move either. He released his aura. Kangho's mind began to race. If we can actually communicate, then this demon is completely different from the ones I encountered during the war. They were just mindless machines that spewed dark mana impossible to reason with. Compared to them, this one feels almost human. Thinking this, he gestured with his chin towards the demon. So what exactly are you? The demon seemed a bit offended. Well, by species, I'm from the Majin race. Hearing this, Kangho pressed further. Imagine, what is someone like you doing all the way out here? Despite his immense embarrassment, he still recounted the story. It's a long story. And honestly, it's pretty humiliating. I lost a ranking match and had to flee to save my own skin. Then I accidentally got swept into a dungeon mutation. Kangho glanced to the side. So even while you were running for your life, you still remembered to bring that thing with you. Huh. There, a hornet as big as a dog was busy building its nest. It was clearly not on the same level as the other combatants. Species Queen Hornet. Rarity C. Attack FF. Defense CC. Special skill CC. Potential FF. Kangho's gaze immediately locked onto it. So that monster is the mother of this entire swarm, huh? Seeing this, the demon frantically tried to stop him. Wait, those bees are just scouts I sent out. They're completely harmless, I swear. Besides, if I just give them a little tap like this. Instantly, the hornet shrank and turned to stone. Kangho couldn't help but be impressed. The demon held it in his hand, full of pride. Once I petrify them. They can survive on pollen alone. They won't hurt a soul. At that moment, the combat bees also turned to stone. He was still rambling on. I raised her from a grub, so I take full responsibility for her. At some point, Koa started chewing on the demon's leg. This dark mana is amazing. The demon was so shocked he began to thrash about. A beast that can consume a demon's mana? What in the world kind of creatures are you people? Kangho said nothing, merely observing him in silence. This guy Teo doesn't seem to be a major threat by himself. The real difficult problem is this new space, the demon world. If he was really ranked 4th in their hierarchy, he'd be the perfect subject to extract information from. Meanwhile, the demon was on the verge of tears. "Stop it. I'm begging you. Please make it stop." Kangho's fist tightened with resentment. But I can never forget that. The terrifying, overwhelming power of those demons. With that thought, Kangho's hand began to glow. And that is precisely why. He quickly pressed it against the demon's chest, his voice laced with a blade-like killing intent. "If you truly want to surrender, then this is what we must do." He thought to himself, "I still need a fail-safe to keep him in check." The demon let out a blood-curdling scream. "I am going to seal your mana core!" A moment later, the demon's body went limp like a wet noodle and collapsed. He struggled just to prop himself up. "My mana!" Koa circled the demon, looking disappointed. "It's gone, but it tasted so good." Kangho's gaze was razor-sharp. "Don't make a sound. Just follow me. If you try anything foolish, I'll kill you right where you stand." He didn't dare disobey and could only offer a strained smile. All right. He was terrified inside. Are all ordinary humans this frightening? Just what was that magical power? While Kangho was busy dealing with the demon, outside the gate, the scene was completely different from when he first entered. The appearance of an expedition-class gate had attracted guilds from all over. Until this entire area was packed with people, there was only one reason why the top guilds had gathered to fight for priority raid rights. Now that the war was over, a red-level dungeon filled with resources was no longer something to be feared, but in fact was no different from a giant treasure trove, and the ticket to enter that treasure trove. The priority raid rights were decided by an extremely simple method, a knockout tournament. Whichever guild sent out the strongest warrior would win those rights. Even the Nappa Guild, one of the big three, famous for its expeditions, had invited a special fighter just for this tournament. But unfortunately, they were all defeated by the same person. This blonde-haired man was quite famous with the codename Dread King. When the match ended, he didn't forget to take a selfie. A hunter ranked 10th in the SS class. He casually posted it on social media. He was also an influencer who craved fame. Just then, another figure approached. "That pathetic little act of yours hasn't changed a bit." The Dread King didn't even bother to look up from his phone. "So you're here. I'm in the middle of posting a story online. Just give me 5 seconds. Then I'll turn you into stir-fried pork." This guy's code name was Broken, the second-ranked S-class member of the 4 great guilds, part of the Fengyun Guild. "Your 5 seconds are up." He just calmly smirked. "It seems you really want to get beaten up one more time." The next second, they both rushed at each other like a storm, simultaneously swinging their fists at their opponent. Just then, 2 figures appeared from within the dungeon. It was Kangho, followed by the demon. The scene before them left them both dumbfounded. They saw Broken get knocked back 10 meters, but he was easily stopped by Kangho. He let go, and the guy dropped to the ground with a thud. Where did this thing come flying from? Kangho's eyes scanned the crowd before him. "Well, things seem a lot different from when I first went in, huh?" The first one to react was a man who shouted, "You? You just came out of the dungeon, didn't you?" He just calmly nodded. "Just as you see." The whole crowd immediately erupted into chaos. "What the hell did you just say? You must be joking with us." Perhaps the angriest person was the king. "Just as you see." What the hell is that supposed to mean? "You bastards." As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately lunged forward. The nosy demon peeked out. "They're coming this way. Are they going to kill us?" Kangho was getting a headache from the person behind him. "Didn't I tell you not to say a word and to just follow me quietly?" He glanced at the person rushing towards them. "So, this guy is the arrogant type, huh?" But the king didn't attack. Instead, he pointed at the dungeon and yelled, "Who the hell are you? Who gave you permission to just walk out of there like that, huh?" Kangho's expression didn't change in the slightest. "Since when did I need the permission you speak of?" The man nearly threw a fit. "Of course you need permission." The more the king spoke, the more agitated he became, his eyebrows practically about to merge. "Why the hell do you think all of us are here beating the living daylights out of each other, huh? Do you think we're just bored with nothing better to do? It's all for the priority rights to the dungeon. You get it." In contrast, he remained as calm as if he had just returned from a stroll. Priority raid rights, ah. So this is how things are done these days. His eyes stared intently at the 2 people in front of him. The scanner isn't detecting any magic power on him at all. Is he just a normal person who accidentally wandered into the dungeon and then walked out? Then the king grabbed Kangho's shoulders and shook him back and forth. If you haven't even awakened, don't hang around places like this and get yourself killed. If you're just some unawakened nobody, then know your place, you piece of trash. The demon behind him couldn't help but whisper, "Are you really going to kill him this time?" He glanced down at the hand touching him. When he looked up, the corner of Kangho's mouth curved into a smirk. "That's right. I won't take his life." Italak stood curiously behind Kangho. "Are you really going to end his life?" He firmly denied it. "I have no intention of killing that guy." The king tightened his grip on Kangho's shoulder, roaring with contempt. "What the hell are you mumbling about? An unawakened person like you shouldn't be loitering here. Get out of my sight." His sharp gaze swept over the king. "Yes, I won't take his life, but—" Suddenly someone interrupted their argument. "Isn't that the famous Mr. Choi Kangho?" He frowned in disgust, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "What, even the White Knight Guild wants to join the fight for the first clear rights?" The other man enthusiastically introduced himself. "I had the chance to greet you via video call with my master the other day. Are you also here to compete for the pioneering rights? I had the pleasure of greeting you the other day on a video call with my master. But it's a true honor to meet you in person like this. I am Li Hu, a member of the White Knight organization. Li Hu, the guild master of White Knight, one of the three greatest powers." Kangho then recalled that meeting. Model. "So you're Junu's best student, huh?" "Yeah, it's been a while. Hey, lately, have these so-called first clear rights for gates become that common?" He quickly confirmed, "Yes, times have changed, so now." "Everything is handled that way, sir." King started to boil with rage. "You bastard! Are you deliberately ignoring me? Are you deaf? Do you have any idea how many supporters are watching me right now, huh?" He raised an eyebrow, glancing to the side. "But why would you associate with an unawakened person like him? That name, Choi Kangho. Why does it sound so familiar?" King realized with a start. "Don't tell me. He's the Beastmaster from the legendary 5 Great War Gods." Kangho gave a slight smile as if to confirm. Lee Hyuk suddenly became wary. His expression looked strange right now. "Master warned me very carefully that Junu had once taught him seriously, 'Listen, Hyuk, the chances are very low, but if you ever cross paths with Kangho, you must remember this. You need to be on your highest alert, especially when Kangho gives a gentle smile like a saint, because that smile means—" His master's words still echoed in his ears. "In just a moment, he will mercilessly and completely crush the opponent standing right in front of him." He started to break out in a cold sweat. His smile right now, it's even brighter than before. He still couldn't believe it looking at the pathetic state of the old man, from whom I can't even sense any magical power. How can he be one of the 5 famous war gods? King's ambition began to swell. Wait, if that's true, then that means— If I take down the guy in front of me, I'll officially surpass even those legendary war gods. Kangho chuckled. "Are you really planning to attack me? Well then, thank you." He channeled energy into his right hand. "Don't mention it. The one who really needs to say thank you here is—" King threw a powerful hook. "Me!" He grinned smugly. "I landed the first clean hit. Not even the beast master of the 5 great war gods could dodge that in time." Suddenly, King's pupils contracted. "What is this?" Italak backed away with a hiss. He panicked. "Huh, where did he go?" "He just vanished." King was suddenly grabbed by the collar. "What are you standing around for? Get inside now." He was completely unable to resist. Kangho frowned impatiently. "So let's see you use all that strength of yours to try and clear it." He forcefully threw King aside. "Isn't all that arrogance of yours because you wanted to be the first one to clear this gate?" The force didn't decrease in the slightest. He crashed into the far wall. King struggled to get up, groaning in pain. "Is this really a dream?" He panted in terror. How could something so unbelievable possibly be happening? Kangho gritted his teeth in disgust. "I never liked using force to decide first clear rights, but since it's the rule of this era, I was going to let it slide." He sped up, rushing forward. "However, at the very least—" Kangho cornered King, but King didn't just take it and launched a counterattack. He was filled with fighting spirit. "What era do you think you're living in, huh? You first-generation awakened relic. Remember, this is the era of the second generation of the awakened. You decrepit old man." He gently placed a hand on his face. "If you want to survive in a world where strength is everything, you'd better learn some humility." Kangho forcefully slammed King's head into the ground. Italak paled with worry. "Is he going to get beaten to death?" Lee Hyuk swallowed hard. "It's possible he might actually die." He was filled with relief. Choosing to surrender was definitely the right decision. He wondered to himself, but is this person a member of Sir Choi Kangho's party? A long while later, King heard a voice calling to him. "Have you come to your senses yet, model?" Kangho casually asked. "Your moves are decent, but you're reckless and lack the fundamentals. Who taught you?" He lay flat on the ground. "I don't have a master. I reached S-Rank purely on my own natural talent." Kangho sternly lectured, "Having talent is a blessing, but that talent doesn't give you the right to look down on others. Live with a bit more humility." Kangho gave King a piece of advice. "What will you do if even stronger opponents appear in the future? If you don't put in the effort to train, your talent will soon reach its limit." He coldly laid out the worst-case scenario. And when that limit is shattered in a real fight, death will be unavoidable. He laughed self-deprecatingly. "Could it be that this whole time I've just been a frog at the bottom of a well?" Kangho continued to lead him. "The first thing you need to do is find a good master." Meanwhile, King was posting online, a bitter smile on his face. Reaching the limit? Frog at the bottom of a well? Misguided. Thinking to himself, he clenched his fist in frustration. It seems sincere advice really does fall on deaf ears. I guess I have no other choice but to teach him a lesson with my fists. The advice went completely over his head. Whoa, this gate is secretly a great spot for a selfie. Let me just take a few more. Hey, what was it you were saying earlier? Painful crunching sounds echoed from inside the gate, and just like that, this red-level gate was officially conquered. From that moment on, social media was flooded with posts about how the predicted red-level gate in Pocheon had been mysteriously cleared. The self-proclaimed king suddenly vanished, leaving behind a message, "It's time to find my true self." Fitting for his title, countless speculative articles and rumors began to spread. One witness claimed to have seen two young men leaving the scene on the back of a giant saber-toothed tiger. Rumor had it that this was the ultimate weapon of Baekje. However, Baekje remained silent on the matter. Meanwhile, a detailed investigation into the netherworld and its demon species was launched. Italak was enjoying the snowfall. What in the world is this cold white substance falling from the sky? Kangho ignored him, busy looking at the news. See, I told you. It all really happened right here at this location. He looked up some information on Italak. You suffered a crushing defeat in battle against Ban, the top-ranked demon, and he stole a huge amount of your demonic energy. And because you fell here in that state, you don't know much about the demons in this world? Italak confirmed. Yes, that's what I said. Kangho's attention was caught by a news report. Italak said, however, about a week before I arrived here, I heard a rumor that a region of the netherworld was rapidly transforming into dungeons. Italak continued, his gaze darkening slightly. Those dungeons connect directly to a completely different dimension. I never imagined that place would be right here. He furrowed his brow, thinking to himself, it's been exactly 55 years since the daybreak phenomenon, and now new types of monsters are beginning to appear, and a new dimension, the netherworld, has officially connected to Earth. Kangho quickly analyzed the situation. In that case, the most important thing I need to confirm is he needed more information. What is the power level like in the place you came from? In my current condition, I can't accurately gauge your level, Kangho cautiously calculated. For reference, according to what he's claimed, his rank before his demonic energy was stolen was it fourth among the 72 demon lords who rule the netherworld. That means he must possess terrifying power. Italak chuckled, pointing to his chest. I'm not really the type who enjoys bloodshed. However, if you're still curious to test my strength, shouldn't you take this off me first? Well, his eyes filled with fear. Kangho reached out his hand. I have no other choice. With a single flick, a powerful aura surged from Italak's body. He let out a maniacal laugh. Yes, excellent. My demonic energy. At last, it's starting to come back. Open your eyes and look. This is my true strength. Kangho kept his eyes fixed on Italak. I still have a lot I need to ask him, but if he tries anything funny, I'll have to destroy him instantly. Suddenly, skeletal arms erupted from the ground. Italak had summoned them. O departed souls, conquer death and heed my command. The corpses turned their vacant eyes toward him. Kangho was taken aback. That ability, don't tell me he's a necromancer who summons the undead. Italak boasted enthusiastically about his power. You guessed correctly. This is the true power I command, he explained smugly. I have the ability to turn lifeless corpses into my servants and make them do my bidding. I remember that bastard Ban mentioning something like this. But Kangho thought to himself with amazement that a skill like that should only exist in novels, not among the Awakeners on Earth. No one had ever possessed such a bizarre power. Koa excitedly rushed forward. That delicious meal is back again. It effortlessly obliterated that horde of zombies. Italak broke out in a cold sweat. Wait, what is this ominous, uneasy feeling? Koa bit straight into his neck. You again? You little beast. The strength in Italak was rapidly drained into its stomach. Is my mana about to be completely drained again? He struggled in despair, unable to believe it. Was this your plan? Did you open my mana core just for this? He didn't even bother to deny it. Yeah, something like that. Suddenly, Italak sensed an anomaly. The flow of mana was becoming chaotic. The magic inside his mana core, he realized with a start. The empty space left after Koei had drained all the dark magic was now being filled with purified pure mana. He was thrilled. What is happening? How strange. Koei's body was also enveloped in a gentle mana. It seemed to be growing. Koei's tail split in two. Kangho stared dumbfounded. It grew another tail. It has evolved into a new form. Species Bayeka. Rarity SS. Attack D to B. Defense D to D. Special abilities potential. Expanded skills. He carefully observed the attack and defense stats. They've increased since the last time it absorbed mana, and now its skills have changed too, Italak exclaimed in admiration. Hey kid, you just grew another new tail. Kangho searched his memory. Second tail achieved. This creature has absorbed enough mana to possess its second tail. Special abilities will be activated when the conditions are met. He recalled the legendary silver-white spirit fox that Johanna had mentioned before. That entity had as many as 5 tails. He couldn't help but wonder if Koa-sama could continue to grow more tails like that white spirit fox. Suddenly, the phone in his pocket vibrated slightly. Kangho quickly answered. Bai. He got straight to the point. It's me, Kangho. Can I ask you for a favor? Bai swiped to an image. Another one of our S-class rankers has gone missing in the southern conflict zone. It's Hoen, who's ranked 30th in Korea. He furrowed his brow in suspicion. We had already pulled all of our forces out of that area. He immediately became alert. That place again. Kangho wondered, what the hell is going on in the south? The southern combat zone covers the Daegu region and the Busan area further south. And the final gateway to get there is this place Daejeon. The only reason Daejeon has remained peaceful is thanks to the protection of Levedon, one of the 4 renowned guilds and a legendary family of mages. He skillfully swiped his access card. Number 0000436, Choi Kangho. Free pass verified. Greetings, SS rank runner Choi Kangho. Your pass has been confirmed. The guard spoke formally. Greetings, senior. It's a great honor for me to meet you, sir. Kangho spoke up. I need to pass through. He gave a slightly forced smile. Yes, of course you can. But may I ask something? The guard seemed a bit troubled. Who is this person standing next to you, sir? He made up a status on the spot. Just consider him my personal assistant. Italak was sucking on a lollipop like a 3-year-old. Oh my god, this sweet flavor. You'd never find this in the demon world. Kangho continued nonchalantly. Does he need to show any identification? The guard didn't make things difficult and made way for them. I've just received the notification. Everything is in order. You may proceed inside. The scene inside was desolate. 35 years have passed since the Dawn War ended. In the northern region where Choi Kangho stands guard, the catastrophe-class species are kept under strict control. But here in the south, it's no different from a real battlefield. Catastrophe-class monsters run rampant everywhere without end. They are caught up in territorial disputes that are brutal and never-ending. This led to a very obvious question. Why hasn't anyone stepped up to wipe them out? He and Koei jumped onto Munchie's back. Let's go. Munchie. Kangho urged Italak. What are you doing? Get on quickly. He looked bored. Do I have to go too? Italak seemed very interested in his surroundings. Actually, this place reminds me of my homeland. It's not bad at all. Suddenly, a dragon's head came flying. Its eyes were still wide open. Before he could understand what happened, the dragon's head fell right in front of Italak. He raised an eyebrow mockingly. You think you can, taking your sweet time, enjoying that memory while your monocore is sealed. He watched it suspiciously. You're being serious, aren't you? Italak grabbed Munchie's tail and started walking. On second thought, maybe it's time I opened myself up to this new environment. Goodbye, old memories. The answer to that question was simple because it was unnecessary. First, although human civilization had gradually recovered, the population lost during the constant wars had yet to be replenished. There was no reason for us to venture south to expand our territory. Second high-energy monostones typically only form before a monster evolves. But the monsters in this region had all reached their final evolutionary forms, rendering their monostones practically worthless. For those very reasons, the entire southern region had become a complete wasteland. As he walked, he remarked, "This place actually feels familiar, just like home." Munchie recognized it instantly. It was heat grass. Kangho was certain that this type of grass radiated heat in all directions wherever it grew. That place would surely turn into a tropical rainforest. Munchie was showing signs of exhaustion, so he asked with concern, "Sorry, you guys must be feeling the heat." Kangho thought to himself that neither Munchie nor Koa were used to this kind of harsh climate. He made a decisive call. "All right, from here on, we'll go on foot." Suddenly, a sound echoed. "What was that?" "It sounds like a desperate scream." Kangho looked over in surprise. "Is someone out there?" A mana explosion erupted in the distant forest, making his jaw drop. The sound was getting closer. Unable to hide his shock, Italak shouted, "Was that an explosion?" The scale of the explosion continued to spread. The monsters in the forest had been shrieking for a while as they began to turn and flee. He watched them calmly and noted, "Those monsters, they're scattering in a panic." Suddenly someone rushed toward him, landing heavily on the ground. Kangho was bewildered. Are there still awakened people left in this place? But Cheonbei insisted that all forces had already been withdrawn. Italak's eyes widened in shock. "Wait a minute. That person." He looked vaguely familiar, so he tried to search his memory. "He looks really familiar." Another powerhouse had appeared.